my great love in life, of course, is music, and that's why I went and did a doctorate in it. And if I, and really the end game for me is to share what I do. I do very unusual things with music. I've taken an early instrument, an historical, ancient instrument that fell out of use in the middle of the 18th century, and have brought it into the 21st century, electrified it, and taken it down to the clubs and to festivals and places where other people probably wouldn't think to go to hear such an instrument being played. The instrument was invented, it's called the Ruby Gamba. The instrument was invented by a fellow named Jan Gurissen in the Netherlands of Ruby Instruments. And he more or less charged me with figuring out what it sounds like. It's been my job, really, to develop repertoire for it, to develop technique, to get it out and get it heard, and even to sell a few, which I've done. And everything that I've studied, every kind of music that I've listened to, it all comes together in here and comes out in my own project called Genome. It's all lowercase G.Nome. You can find me on Reverb Nation and on iTunes and you name it, SoundCloud. I'm there, and doing the whole social media thing, promoting that. But really, the end game is to share what I do and what I've learned and how what I've done with it, and not just that, but to just the entire history of music and all the things that are music. I like to teach.
How long have you been teaching?
Well, I taught for 12 years. I've been teaching for 12 years. I still teach. I'm teaching privately now. I teach private lessons and we'll do lectures, guest lectures, and so forth. I perform with the Kansas City Baroque Consortium, and so I do a lot of historical performance. This last spring, I performed in the St. Matthew Passion of Johann Sebastian Bach. We did that at the Kaufman Center.
Nice.
They gave me my own dressing room.
Oh,
yeah, at Hillsburg Hall. Wow, that was fantastic.
Hey, it's a brand new building too.
It is a brand new building. What a great space to play in. It's just been wonderful. And we've got another concert coming up on the 16th of this month of English Bawdy Song, which will be a lot of fun. I'm directing that show. It's a show that I used to direct with my early music ensemble back at Wells College in Aurora, New York, which is where I had my tenured professorship until they cut the program. And but really, nothing that I do is really worth anything unless I can share it with other people.
Yeah.
I often say that the one element of society in which the trickle-down theory really works is in education. Because those who are at the top, who have the knowledge, are nothing unless they're disseminating that knowledge, unless they're sharing it with others. And you don't lose when you share your knowledge. In fact, your knowledge, you gain it, and it becomes more solid the more you give. And the people you share it with then learn and can then share it with others.
That's awesome.
And that's really what it's all about, and what I love to do most. And that's what I do.
Well, what are your certificates? What are your awards? Have you gotten any awards?
When I was working at Wells College, I received an Excellence in Advising award.
Nice.
Because
that was before you were diagnosed, even.
That was long before I was diagnosed. Because, even though I didn't have a name for what was different about me, I always recognized people who were like me, and especially in my students.
Yeah.
And I was known on campus as someone you could go to talk to if you were having trouble of any kind. And so I love to advise students and help them not just pick out their classes, but to really make their college experience meaningful, and make the classes that they chose work together, and so that they could use one to draw from another, and make the kinds of connections that I make so easily in my own mind, you know, across historical periods, across uh, styles and genres and so forth. I would sit and talk with students, sometimes for hours, would talk about these types of things. And if they had personal problems, they could come to me even. And so I was given that award. It was a tremendous surprise and a great honor to receive it. I'm a member of the Phi Kappa Lambda, Phi Kappa Lambda, sorry, the National Music Honor Society. It's nice to know what societies you're a member of, isn't it?
Yes.
And,
it's hard to be on the spot like this.
Yeah. So I'm a member of the National Music Honor Society. And throughout my education, of course, I excelled in school. My GPA was, of course, way up there. I won't say what it was, but
yeah.
it was where I would want it to be.
There you go. Where everybody would like it to be.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I had to do it too. I mean, there was no funding for me. You know, I had to pick what I wanted to do and go after it and do it myself.
And you did it.
And I did it.
That's amazing.
Because we can do anything we want. And the knowledge of who we are and what we're capable of is empowering. And with the right people behind you or beside you, it's amazing what you can accomplish.
Wow.
And embrace your ASD. It's your superpower. And of course, there is, you know, with every if you watched Heroes, you know, with every superpower there's a downside.
Yes.
But never mind about that. That's over there. You know?
Yeah.
That can be dealt with, and you can learn ways around it. You can learn ways to mitigate the hazard. You know,
nice.
You can get around those things.
Nice.
With the right help and the right people to guide you. But ultimately, your mind is unique, and you can do whatever it is that you want, and you can probably do it better than anybody else.
Well, that's awesome.
Which has its own downside, because, you know, when you do something better than other people, sometimes they get rather upset about it.
Yes.
And that's of course the danger we run into, and then we stand there going, "What's wrong? Why are they so mad at me?" You know?
Yes.
But you know.
Well, I for one can't believe, you know, anybody would discriminate, especially this day and age, and that is unbelievably uncool.
It surprised me because they wrote it right there on the sheet.
Yeah.
You know, we are turning you down because of your ASD, and my jaw just hit the floor. It's like, are you kidding me?
Really? Yeah.
Because right in the policy, as I was applying for it, the reason I applied for it is because they had mental health right there. I mean, that's one of the reasons I chose it, because mental health was included in the standard premium. Wow. And so when I was actually turned down for something that should have been included in there, I mean, do I need to be something else?
Well,
you know, I mean,
you're a productive member of society. You're good for your community. You help children, and for a company to be so unconcerned with, you know, who you are, what you're about, you know, it bothers me. It bothers me, and I'm sure it's going to bother a lot of other people. And I've talked to a couple people that have, you know, autistic children, and everybody I've talked to is very, very upset. So we're going to have this call flood to this company, and we're going to see what you know, what their response is every time. We're gonna record all their conversations, and we're gonna have some fun with it. You know,
we are the people who make this world move.
Yes.
You know, we are the Bill Gateses, we're the Steve Jobses, we're the Einsteins of this world.
You put the music in our world.
And
without music, what is there to live for, really? I mean, really.
And it's our focus, it's our ability to focus on our unique perspective on things that moves things forward.
Yeah.
And we're very valuable members of society. We're a little different.
A little different.
A little different. Sometimes a lot different. But that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
This is a diverse world, and diversity of thought should be just as valuable as any other kind of diversity that we put value on.
Yep,
And
I agree.
This is the age when we are learning to value diversity. So let's value the diversity of minds.
If you had one thing you could say to this company, what would it be?
Shame on you. To call yourselves Golden Rule Insurance, is this truly how you do unto others?
We're going to find that very question out. We are going to find that very question out.
Yeah, the irony of the name of the company was certainly not lost on me at all.
Yes, I bet. I bet. This is, I can't see in 2013 with all the disease, all the famine, everything going on, that they would exclude an autistic person. Asperger's, autistic, it's all on the autistic spectrum. My nephew is autistic.
I have a cousin who is fully autistic and will be living with his parents for, as long as they can keep him.
Yes.
He is somewhat independent and brilliantly creative. He does great cartooning. I mean, he's just absolutely a fantastic drawing, artist.
Yeah.
Cartoonist, and very creative and an interesting person to talk to, and he will talk to you too. I mean, you can engage him on his level, in his interest, of course. But once you get going with that, wow, if it's your interest too, you'll have a great time talking to him.
And it really bothers me to know that when he gets of age and gets a job, that there are companies out there that are not going to help him. That bothers me a whole bunch, and I hope it bothers a whole bunch of other people.
We need to be bothered by this.
Yeah,
we need to be bothered by this.
I agree.
We're a tremendous resource if you use us, if you use us correctly.
Yeah.
We're a tremendous resource. We can add value to your company in ways that you could never imagine. We can come up with the ideas and the connections between things that other people may not be able to, and make the innovations that are so desperately needed now, especially now in this time when we need innovation, when things have got to change.
Yeah.
Because we're not, we haven't been headed in the right direction for quite a while. We've got lots of problems that need creative solutions to move us forward and to, not to put too fine a point on it, but to save our planet.
Yeah.
And it's being able to think in those different ways.
Outside
that box.
Yep.
And one of the things I often say is thinking outside the box. There's a box. Sorry. Wasn't aware there was even one of those.
Well, thank you, Victor. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
And we're going to get this out, and we're going to get some answers. I mean, we're going to find out just exactly what they think.
Let's do this thing.
We are. It's your boy on Turbo TV. Let's go.